YouTube channels, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and I have a full house this morning. I love having full houses, but DeAndre is out today. He's not going to be with us today. He has another excursion, another adventure. I'm sure we're going to hear all about it next week. It is a beautiful day here on the island of Nevis, though. The sun is out in all its glory, and in case wherever you are, you're not getting that same level of sunshine, we're not even going to just bring you the sunshine, we're bringing you the entire sun. It's a bright day even in the morning, even in the studios of Vaughn Radio. I'm going to allow our guests this morning to introduce themselves and tell us what organization they represent.
My name is Pauline Gujiri. I am the Executive Director at Nevis Historical and Conservation Society.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Babita Silal. I am the museum attendant at the Hamilton Museum, also the membership officer, and I assist in helping with events as well. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Nikesha Henry, and I am a student of the Nevis International Secondary School, and I volunteer at the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Akela Bendita, and I am the museum attendant and also the assistant archivist at the Nelson Museum under the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. And I am also coordinating the coastal cleanup for 2019.
Wonderful. So we have, and interestingly enough, ladies, a few weeks ago we did giveaways during the summer, back to school giveaways, and one of the questions was in relation to museums and how many museums are in Nevis and where are they located, and the students had a bit of a struggle figuring out where the museums were located and what they were. So I encouraged them during the summer to make that part of their summer activities so that they can learn a bit about what we have here. We have a rich history here. We have places where you can go and learn about that history. And so we spoke about that. So for the students who are listening in and you couldn't get the question the last time, we have representatives from both museums in the studio this morning. And we also have Miss Molly Gunjiri here with us as well. So before we go directly into the reason you're here, I just want to go through a quick recap of what happened last week and what's coming up next week. That way our audience, and we'll do that twice during the show this morning. Last week we had a very active week. I think the biggest part of the week and the most exciting part of the week, we had two Disney characters here on Nevis, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, and a lot of the students had the opportunity, over 900 students had the opportunity to go down to the netball complex on Thursday and get their pictures taken with Mickey and Minnie Mouse, compliments Digicel, and it's part of the Digicel promotion. They're doing a promotion for a Disney cruise. One family on St. Kitts and one family on Nevis will be able to win a Disney cruise, and so the characters Mickey and Minnie were here to promote that activity, but the children were excited about meeting Mickey and Minnie and taking their pictures, and it was a wonderful day. And I want to just say kudos to the entire team at the department, the Ministry of Education, from the bus drivers, the entire staff, everybody came on board. It was logistically a pretty flawless day. I haven't seen that high level of logistics for a while, but it was very well executed, and I want to commend the entire team for working so hard on that. And then coming up next week, I know all of you will be on board next Wednesday. Through the Department of Education, we've launched the National Patriotic Day, and what we've done, we've asked all of the students, all of the schools across the island to encourage their students to come up with a creative attire, creative outfit to wear to school on Wednesday that represents national pride, that in some way shows their patriotism. It doesn't have to be the national dress. You can take some element of our history or some element of our culture and create an outfit that represents, as I said, your patriotism and pride. And we jokingly said that could be something that represents food. So if you want to create a breadfruit, this is my example that makes everybody laugh most of the time. If you want to do a hat with breadfruits lining it, and you do a green dressed with breadfruit. I mean, it's part of our national pride. We're proud of our food. And so it's not limited to just wearing flag colors or just wearing a flag colored t-shirt and jeans, but now we want to start encouraging students to really embrace who we are as a people, as a culture, and even if you are not originally from Nevis, we still want you to be able to know what it means to be a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, what it means to be a resident of St. Kitts and Nevis, and what elements of our culture we can celebrate. And what better time to celebrate St. Kitts and Nevis than during independence? So parents, I'm hoping that you've already sat down with your children, come up with your creative outfits. We are using a hashtag on that day, hashtag I am SKN, hashtag I am SKN, and all pictures of students taken in creative wear will also be loaded on the Ministry of Education Nevis Facebook page. And so it's a start, and we know that it's something that we want to continue to do annually. And as I said, I'm hoping that all of you in the studios will be willing to come on board next Wednesday. Lots of the schools will be having interesting activities. Not all will be doing the traditional patriotic program. They've gone, some schools have gone a little bit outside of the norm, and they're going to do activities such as displays. They're going to there's one school that is going to do something in relation to national heroes, and so they're all looking. Some of them are doing tours of the island and stopping at certain historical sites to show our connection to St. Kitts and Nevis. So please support, and even if you have to go to work in your national attire, whatever that is, your national celebrating National Patriotic Day, we want to give you that opportunity. And so that is our spiel in terms of the announcements and making sure that everybody's aware. Of course, Monday is a holiday. It's National Heroes Day. It's not just any day. It's National Heroes Day, and we want to celebrate our national heroes on Monday. Every day, but on Monday. And then we have a second holiday on Thursday. And on that day, we have our annual Independence Parade. And so we want to support our 36th anniversary, celebrate our 36th anniversary of independence during that parade. And it starts at 8 a.m. All students who have been selected to represent your schools, we would love to make sure that you're there. Make sure that you get hydrated enough because it's a little bit hot these days, but we want to make sure that we're there showing once again our connection to St. Kitts and Nevis and the fact that we're proud to be part of the entire St. Kitts and Nevis body. And and for all those who are listening as well, please make sure that you go out and support the parade. The parade is a display for all of us to be able to enjoy, and we want you to all go out on Thursday starting at 8 a.m. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Sugar City St. Kitts. Keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past this quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's youth on the go. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling is for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Let's go.
go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook Live and YouTube channels. Welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. During the break, we had another guest join us, so I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, and then we will talk a bit about why they are here this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I think I'm no stranger to Youth on the Go. Isabel Byron. I volunteer with the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, and I'm chairperson of the Biodiversity and Conservation Committee, which is the committee responsible for the coastal cleanup, the annual coastal cleanup, which we are here to speak about.
All right. So the coastal cleanup then is of course something that, it's, like you said, it's annual, so it's not the first time that you're here talking about it, but I'm guessing it's that time of year again. And so we know that we encourage all of our listeners, young and old, to come on board. I'm going to turn over to you, Pauline, and you'll give us a history of what the coastal cleanup is about.
The International Coastal Cleanup worldwide was started 30 years ago. In Nevis, the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society has coordinated the event for 27 years. And one thing I like about this event is that very many students and young people have been involved. And that is very exciting to know that our young people are concerned about a clean environment. So every year the society coordinates these activities, and we are finding out that youth groups in schools are coming up with their own activities even during the year. So we know we are impacting the youth, and that is very exciting. So this year it will be held on September 21st from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. And at the end of the coastal cleanup, we reward the volunteers with picnics. So we encourage everybody to sign up. We encourage groups and their captains to sign up before Wednesday next week. Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, so the 18th of September then is a big day because it's our National Patriotic Day, and it's also the deadline for signing up for the coastal cleanup.
Actually, I forgot to say, one way the society celebrates independence every year is to clean up the island.
That's a good way to celebrate. It does, because as somebody who's patriotic, you have to understand the importance of keeping your surroundings clean. And when you have pride in a place, you usually try to make it look the best that it can. And so it works. It's a good time of year to do that, and it works very well at the same time. Okay, so the 21st of September, that is next Saturday, and just make sure 6 a.m. until 12 noon. How big are the groups? How big of groups? How big is each group usually?
That will be explained by Ella,
Okay,
who is
okay.
our coordinator.
All right. Okay. So sign up Wednesday.
By Wednesday.
By Wednesday 18th, I'm going to go over to Ella, and she will give us some information in terms of the logistics. I understand she's the coordinator for the activity.
Okay, hello again. Just a quick overview of last year's cleanup. We have 29 teams from last year, which in total we have 238 participants, and they collected 258 bags. The bags weigh about 2,309 pounds, and the bags contain at least 10,538 trash.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
It is a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, and in total we clean up about 26.60 miles of the island.
So we almost got the whole island.
Almost.
Almost. Okay, that the disheartening part is that you had to pick up so much garbage, which means we can do a better job as a people of consistently keeping the island clean. That's the message I'm getting. But we want to applaud the society and applaud the entire group as you continuously try to get people to understand that. So this one initiative is only one of many, like Miss Gunjuri would have said. And so we want to applaud you for that, Ella. If you could give us some information in terms of signing up for this year, how you had 29 groups last year?
Yes,
29 groups last year. So do you have a target of a higher number this year, or you just want that or more?
I wouldn't say I have a certain number in mind, but I would say maybe about 50.
You want 50? 50 sounds good. 50 sounds really good.
very good.
And what is the average size of each group usually?
The average size is normally at least, you could say about 15 to 20, but this year one group has about 50 students. That's Nevis International.
Okay, so Nevis International, can you split, and that group will probably split into several
Yes,
sites with
yeah.
several leaders. Wonderful. So they've made it an entire school-wide activity, it looks like.
Yes, well, they're not going to be splitting up.
Oh, they're
They
not?
will clean different parts of the area they are cleaning. However, they're cleaning the bayfront and a part of Pinny's Hotel.
Oh, okay, so they're going to take the whole
Yeah.
front part there of Charlestown. Make sure you guys do a good job. That's where most people come in. And so I know you will, though. With a group of 50, I want to applaud all of you for that. If I can hop over for a second to Nikesha, since she's playing dual roles this morning and we're on the Nevis International Talk. How did your school go about, or how did you go about getting that number of students enrolled?
Well, our teachers would encourage us to be more part of these activities and show us how it is important to clean up the island, and the students would agree, and every year we go out and support the NHCS with the coastal cleanup, and most students would turn up for it.
Wonderful. Do you get extra credit or extra anything?
We don't want any credit because we see the importance of it.
Wow, wonderful.
Something else the school did very unique is last year, after Ella had compiled a very comprehensive document on the data, they petitioned the Minister of Health. They met the Minister of Health. They led the campaign and included other students from other schools. They petitioned the Minister for Health to consider legislating against this use of single
Use plastics.
plastics.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. That sounds good. So we have to make sure that all of the other schools, especially the secondary schools, have the opportunity to sign up. And so I will make sure from my end that we do some promotion on that during the course of the few days we have next week, Ella. So before you leave, we'll make sure that we have an off-ear conversation to make sure that we have that
Okay,
on
no
board.
problem.
How many groups have signed up so far? Are we close to the 50?
Not close, but we're close to our last year's number, which is, I would say, about 23.
We have 23,
Yes.
so we need, and I know CSS has a group as well, an environmental
Yes.
Yes.
group, environment, that they do the same, they have the same mission. I'm hoping that they already signed up as well, but if they haven't, I know they will.
And actually, they did an independent cleanup in Charleston last year, and we were very impressed, and we supported them to
Yes.
carry out the activity.
Yes, they do an exceptional job as
Yes.
well. And I love what I'm hearing because for me, it sends the message that there is hope, that we don't have to worry about after Miss Byron or Miss Gunjuri have retired and gone to sit on their verandas and sip lemonade. They know that they would have, and tea, they know that they have they have the younger persons, they have the students, and they have the persons who are working and volunteering with NHCS to continue. And that means that there is hope. And I think of our sustainable development goals and the fact that you are playing a tremendous part of a large role in making sure that as a country we're able to accomplish some of those goals. So commendations to all of you as well on that. All right, so you're going to tell us anything else, Nikesha, in relation to the campaign or anything in relation to the coastal cleanup?
Okay, so I began being involved with the NHCS since the age of 3.
Oh,
I
okay.
would accompany my grandma, Miss Pauline Gunjiri, and being involved helped me not to litter because littering destroys the environment. And this year I took it upon myself to go a step further by encouraging people to sign a petition with the help of some other students and my principal, Miss Napier. And when people sign the petition, I would like to have at least 1,000 signatures. Then we would take it to the Prime Minister and the Premier of Nevis, and that would show them that the importance to ban single-use plastic.
All right, so it's a single-use plastic petition. How many signatures do you have so far?
So far, I have 277.
And when did you start?
Early this year.
Okay, all right. So what have you done so far to get persons on board? Have you had any fears, any activities to get persons to
sign the petition?
the petition?
Like if there's an event, I would just walk around with a friend, Azaria Rivers, and we would encourage people to sign and tell them the importance, why we should ban it. And some people would disagree, but then after we explain, they would sign the petition.
Okay, good, good. So do you have any plans in the near future of having, maybe a stand or taking advantage of any large fairs or activities that we have here? You can have a stall to get that message across?
I would like to.
Okay, and there's a lot, and you can always even do a tent in the square and get persons to sign on.
Okay.
On a Friday afternoon, it's always good.
And I would like to go around to different schools.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So we can talk more about that as well. So we have lots of conversations to have, but I am inspired by all of you. I'm inspired by the work that you have been doing so far, as I've said, and I get extremely elated when young people are leading the charge when it comes to the environment, because we know of all of the things that we're doing to hurt and harm the environment. And so to see that you have an interest, a vested interest in the environment and helping it and helping to make sure that we have some place to live, some clean air to breathe in the future, that we don't have to worry too much about the mosquito-borne diseases because you're trying to clean up, and we won't have to deal with those as much either. That's something that's very, very much commendable. All right, so Ms. Silal, what do you have, what is your role in this entire process?
Well, I'm actually in charge to getting people to sign up and how they go about signing up, which they could contact us at Nevis, info@nevisheritage.org. And also when they come along, they would sign up with the numbers of individual in their group, and they usually have to collect their bags and gloves. And like Pauline said, the deadline is Wednesday, so first come first serve, because there are beaches that's probably taken up already by others, so there are only a few that left. So I really do want to encourage people to come out and support the event, because it means a lot to the Historical Society. And I think people tend to forget how important it is to actually have a clean environment, because it attracts hurricanes as well, and also to have a clean marine life, because everything that the air we breathe should be clean, the food we eat should be clean, the water we drink should be clean. So it is very important for we to keep our environment clean, and also it actually should begin from the source. We as parents should teach our children how to be clean and tidy and how to handle certain things. So yeah, I do encourage others to come out there and be involved in International Coastal Cleanup, as we take it as a serious event. It is very important for us to clean our island. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. We are going to take another short break, and we'll be right back.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now it passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook Live and YouTube channels. Welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio every Saturday morning between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. We try our very best to give opportunities, activities, initiatives to share with and to empower our students, our young people here on the island of Nevis and all throughout the world, wherever you are listening. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and this morning we have representatives who are either employed or volunteering with the NHCS, and we're speaking predominantly about the coastal cleanup, which is scheduled to take place on the 21st of September, next Saturday. Mark your calendars if you don't already have it marked, because you need to make sure that you're there and you are signed up for this activity. I know that we speak of groups, but can families also sign up as a group, or are you looking for recognized groups? Because some people might, or groups of friends, some people might think, okay, you have to have an established group to sign up for this activity.
No, that's not necessary. You can sign up. Any family can sign up. However, if you're having children under 12, you have to be accompanied by adult.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so Nikita, Babita?
Yes.
The teams, they have to collect their
They
items.
have to collect their items on Friday. That's because we're gonna be very busy on Saturday, of course, and it began at 6 a.m. So you have to wake up early, and it's finished at 12. And after that, the picnic will be held at the Fisher Village, Newcastle. And they're actually involved in the coastal cleanup as well, since they're involved in marine life. So they're supporting us in this event as well. So everybody should come by on Friday to pick up their stuff. And if they cannot make it, they should let us know, and we'll try to have it there for them.
And do you have it, of course, when they signed up, you have their contact numbers. So
Of course,
you
yeah,
can
we
reach
have
out
their
to them.
email, the contact, and everything. So they just have to come down to the Hamilton Museum, which is right there in town, and sign up, and they would have all the information from there.
Okay, good. And generally, what do you provide for the groups? I know I heard some mention of gloves at some point. And what other items do you?
Well, we use the gloves. We give them the gloves. We give them the bags, and also the clipboards with the data cards. So they actually list unusual items they found and stuff like that, and how much plastic, how much bottles, how many boxes, different stuff, how many. So they actually have to count all those stuff actually after the cleanup. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm hearing data cards, so I'm going to go over to Ella.
Yes. please.
Because whenever you hear data logistics, you
go to
automatically
Ella.
go to Ella.
Yeah.
So Ella, tell us a bit about the data card. I know that Babita started, but tell us a bit about the data card, and then tell us what types of materials or types of garbage do you see, and where's your highest count when it comes to the different types?
Okay, for the data cards, the instructions are already on the card itself. However, to be more simple about it is that when you find a particular item, you have to identify it on the card. You mark it. You go as a tally.
Okay.
And then as you go, you just cross, and afterwards you count, see how much you have in total, and then you put the total right there. You can find anything on the road, you put it down, unusual items, appliances, bottles, bottle caps, straws, even dead animals, but you don't have to move them. But you can just indicate that you did found dead animals.
Okay.
But we
alright.
did found a lot of unusual stuff last year.
Yes. If I were to remember a few, there were mattresses, underwear, clothes, what else? A computer.
Oh wow.
Yes, and I think they said they saw a carnival costume as well.
Oh no.
Darn it.
So we disposed on the beach. That's bad.
It's
That's
very bad for
you
our
don't
marine life.
you don't dump things on just dump them on the beach or just dump them on the street. There are proper ways to dispose of our waste. To all of our listeners, please try. We have a fair number of bins around. The Nevis Solid Waste Management has many employees who are willing to work with us, and so please try not to. We should not be finding a carnival costume, cultural costume on on the beach on the side of the no. That is very unusual, and it is unacceptable.
Do you know in some country they actually have separate bins for plastics, for cans, for papers,
Yes.
and stuff like that? We should have those things here.
Well,
as
you see, you have the advocates right here in the room.
Yes.
So I know you're going to all be working on that and leading other petitions and charges and making recommendations, because sometimes the adults miss or they don't see, in the priority list. They know it exists, but on the priority list it doesn't rank very high. But when our students and our young people come forward and say, this is a priority for us, it automatically makes it a priority for the country. Melissa has a question for us.
My question is, will the cleanup also include going along maybe the shoreline as like a diver or snorkeler too? Because there are instances where the rubbish or the garbage
Gets into the water.
And whatever plastics or whatever Babita was talking about, the marine life, that affects the marine life as well. So I'm wondering if there will be any type of fishermen or divers who will be assisting with regards to getting to the shoreline area of it and,
That's a
getting the
good
garbage.
question.
Yeah, last year we did have about 3 diving teams, I believe.
Yes, yes,
two
from
or three.
Owali.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Owali and from Mr. Lestra's group, which
Yeah,
is
good.
aquatic
Yeah.
recreation.
Nice.
So this
Yeah, we
year
had.
I called him, but he wasn't so sure which beach they're gonna dive next. But I have to get back with him. So.
Okay, so we definitely will have some diving teams. Melissa, your brain is on the go this morning, like the youth on the go. I'm telling you.
Well, I've seen it where over in the Newcastle area where I'm from, well, the Camps area where I'm from, there have been instances where I would go on the beach and I'm guessing it's the fishermen or whatever they carry their stuff with in
Stains.
Clorox bottles and all those type of things. You see them on the beach and you actually see some of them in the water. So I was just assuming or asking, whether or not that would be included.
And with the partnership with the Newcastle Fishing Association, I think that's a good thing to bring up with them as well, that they can make sure that they have a diving team in Newcastle, because if we're ending there, it should be clean not only on the beach, but we should have at least 1 or 2 people doing some diving. So when we have the culminating activity there, the picnic there should be definitely, this is a clean place. And we've done not only the beach, but we've gone, as Melissa said, for a bit of diving and gotten any of the plastics or any garbage that's there as well.
Yes, one of the predicaments we had last year is that we didn't have a lot of people for the St. George's area. We have about 1 team for St. George's.
And have you tried? I'm hoping you have the Hanley's Road Fisher Folk signed
I
up.
was trying to get in contact with them, but I don't know who to call. So
Okay.
I'm trying to go around and see who I can find. I already found one young gentleman for St. George's. He said
Okay.
he's gonna clean the Dogs Bay area.
Okay, and you have the Dynamic Sports Club. I'm calling out Dio and Governor right here on the air. We have Honorable Eric Evelyn, the Umpire Sports Club. They're in Hanley's Road as well. And for the Fisher Folk, if you find it's Mackie? Mackie Moore? Mackie Moore, and when you're going up towards Church Ground, the gas station there on your right, somebody there will be able to help you at that gas station
gonna target
for the
them.
yes. So go. I'm sending you on from Von Radio on the air live. I'm telling you where these people are because I know. But there are Tracy. Tracy's going to say who you're calling my name. Tracy Paris. She's good at mobilizing. There's a group. She has a games club, a group of students, about 50 students who meet every afternoon. We have, I know I'm going to target, we're going to try to target Gingerland Secondary, see if we can get some of their science students on board and some of their student leaders on board to make sure that we get the Gingerland area covered. We have and there's the entire Foothills and Zion community. I'm going to see if you could find Mr. Trevor Liebert. I'm calling him out on the street, but he does. I know he dives for lobsters as well, and he's right there in the Zion area and good at mobilizing. I can call names because I know whose names I can call on the radio. But these are people who generally, if they can't participate next week, they'll be able to tell you who would be able to help, and they would be able to mobilize groups. And that's one of the good things about it. It's wonderful when you can sit here on the radio, you say Gingerland, and you start calling names of people, or you say St. John's and you start calling the names of the people, because there are people out there who are always willing, and we want to make sure, and they have the heart for the country. They're patriots. Not necessarily cricketers, but they have a strong sense of patriotism, and they will be willing to help as much as they can. So St. George's, we're calling you out this morning, and I know anybody from the Gingerland area who's listening and you have a group, or you can put together a group, we are asking for you to contact the team at the NHCS, go down to the Hamilton Museum right there in Charlestown and sign up your group, because I know that you are great corporate citizens, and I'm making sure that the world knows that as well. All right. So what was the greatest, which type of garbage had the greatest volume last year, Ella?
Plastic.
Plastics.
If I were to put in perspective, I would say about 3,000 plastics. The majority is like 2,000 plastic bottles.
Wow. Wow. So the drinking bottles, the soda bottles.
Soda bottles, the water bottles, all the sorts.
Wow. And so, and I know, like Keisha has been talking about banning single-use plastics, and I also know that Miss Byron has done some work in that as well. And so, maybe we can talk a bit more about that.
Okay. This year we are networking with the Newcastle Bay Fisher Folk.
Okay.
Last year they requested us to have the picnic on their side.
Okay.
And it will be a major challenge for them, because then they must participate, because they interact more with the sea than any of us. So we are networking with their foundation, and we want that day that we have a powerful voice, Fisher Folk students, to make sure that everybody understands how important it is to keep the island clean and the environment clean. And I think many years back we used to be warned of global warming, and you can see what is happening in the Bahamas. So I think we need to wake up and become advocates for clean environments, protected environments. And in this event, we are supported every year by mostly international hotels. This year, Four Seasons was closed, so one of our major supporters. Fortunately, UNDP project based in St. Kitts is supporting.
The Jeff?
Yeah, they are going to support the activity, they'll sponsor the activity. So, but we appreciate all the past contributions by international hotels and local businesses. We are networking with the Chamber of Commerce as well, because some of the litter that we collect is generated by the industries. Much of it, yeah.
Yes.
We hope that business owners will also sign up their employees, and banks, churches. Let's all join together to keep the island clean. I like to tell churches that they are mandated in the same word they preach to subdue the earth, to manage it well. So they should mobilize their groups to keep the earth clean.
Good.
I think it's a responsibility for all of us. So we are very grateful to the sponsors. We are very grateful that the Fisher Folk could take time to be with us on Saturday and to allow us to use their site as the picnic site. But I want to tell volunteers, only those who pick litter on Saturday will have access to the picnic.
Yeah, so please bring a data card. As soon as you finish cleaning up, bring a data card so we can identify you properly.
Okay, good.
And the data is very crucial. In the 27 years we have participated, our data is sent to the international office, to the Ocean Conservancy office, and that data has been used to influence the world to come up with new policies, new legislations. So our data collection is very, very important, how you enter it. So I think it's a very, very important movement to be involved in coastal cleanup, because you are changing policies in the world and in your own country. And it's a remarkable event. Thank you.
All right. All right. So thank you so much. And we often talk about students, and when you go to college, you want to make sure that everybody knows that you have a certain level of community service. And for those persons who are going to think about going to college next year or the following years, this is also a great opportunity for you to get involved. When you go to universities, you would realize that a great focus is placed on the how much you volunteer and your ability to participate in community service. And I often tell students that for many colleges and universities, the focus and the emphasis is not on the academics. The emphasis is usually on how much you can get involved in your community and how much you can get involved in various organizations. And so we want to make sure and to take this opportunity now, use this platform. It's not something for older persons. It's not something that is boring. As you can tell, we have very young, vibrant people in the room as well with us, and so it's something for all of us, no matter our ages, our island, our community, our climate, our beaches. Cleanliness is all of our business. And as Ella was saying, single-use plastics had the highest volume. And I think that has probably been the trend for some time. And with the petition for the ban on single-use plastics, I also want to turn over to Ms. Byron. She's going to tell us a bit more about single-use plastics.
Yes, good morning again. This has been an ongoing concern because, we have been doing this coastal cleanup for 27 years, and it's a major thing. It's very visible, it's very popular, but there's a growing sense of frustration against many of the older persons, particularly the lady who was really behind it all, Mrs. Miriam Noor, who has been like the grandmother or the godmother of this whole event. But lately she says she's fed up of cleaning up on one day, a major thing, and then people just continue their very selfish and, don't care attitude throughout the year of littering the environment. And it becomes a symbolic gesture, but it's not leading anywhere. And this has become increasingly problematic, and so that's why, as you say, young people are so vital, because we can make changes, but we need the young people to continue for us. And in the world now, young people are the ones leading the campaign against climate change, of Greta Thunberg, that remarkable young woman from, is she Sweden, is it, or Norway? And throughout the world, young people are continuing the fight, but also trying to right some of the terrible wrongs we've made in terms of the environment. And, we tend to talk about the environment like it's something separate from humans, but we are an integral part of it. And that's why I feel we are far too complacent and very ignorant, because global warming, climate change, all these things, the effects are happening far quicker and far more devastatingly than we ever imagined. And we're still far too complacent, I think. So, we have to move on. Now, with regard to single-use plastics, we'll need another program, I guess, to talk about it. But we are trying our best now, the NHCS, and many interested persons are on Nevis, because I think there are more and more persons, young and old, who are getting really worried, particularly about plastic bags, but also about plastic bottles. And it's a general conversation now around the world, increasingly. Everywhere you go, on the news, on social media, we're confronted with it. And how can we deal with an enormous problem? I don't think we understand fully how enormous it is. And we have done that petition. We petitioned the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, and she showed a lot of interest. But we want to go much beyond that. We realize it has to be a federal approach. A lot is being done in St. Kitts, but sadly there's not enough communication and dialogue at all, and it's federal. So we really want to bring together these initiatives. Earlier this year in St. Kitts for World Environment Day in June, they had, the theme was Beat Plastic Pollution, I think. And St. Kitts, I think it was the Ministry of Tourism and the Department of the Environment, did a lot to promote, and they subsequently went on to make July plastic-free month or something. And there were a lot of initiatives. I think Nikesha also participated there, because one of her, again, initiatives on her own, more or less, was to join the march. There was a march where they dressed in purple, and they were, just imploring people not to, to consider the reducing their use of single-use plastics. And Nikesha was in the march, and I think you were sharing the petition and so on. So that was a wonderful effort on her part. And but I was disappointed that somehow this didn't extend to Nevis, you know, and I thought, you know, we need as a federation, because it really has to be, we think, from government down. You know, government has to take the lead, because of, we have to decide, do we ban plastics or do we tax them? Both are effective, both have their challenges. So what we have thought as the NHCS, and there are a number of other persons in the community, Mr. Curtis Morton is one, who have approached us about their concern, and many others, is start an awareness raising campaign first, because if you just ban tomorrow, you create huge problems because people are not prepared. People need to start thinking about it and internalizing it, because it will make a change. It's a big change. We've got so used to plastic, it's like it's an integral part of our lives, right? So we are hoping that maybe this year, this can be the start, perhaps. We were thinking maybe do a month like St. Kitts at some point of awareness raising. And where one of our initial things is going to be call a stakeholders meeting, key people, and we've spoken to the general manager for Solid Waste, Mr. Hendrickson. He is very keen, because they get overwhelmed. They don't know how to deal with this plastic anymore. And we want to meet other stakeholders. We have contacted, obviously, the business community, the Hotel and Tourism Association, youth groups and so on, the fisher folk, and we'd like to thank Mrs. Janice Hodge also, because she has been instrumental in getting the cooperation of the fisher folk, I think, and she is an environmental expert who we value a lot for her contribution. So basically, that is what we hope will happen in the year going forward. I was just checking online about the moves within the Caribbean, and an increasing number of countries are beginning. They have not all banned plastics. I think some have. I think I was reading that Jamaica has one of the best policies so far. And I think we need to dialogue more with those other countries, because the thing with the Caribbean, we each do things and we're not doing them together, and that's a big problem. So we need to dialogue more, we need to do more research and look at what is working and what isn't working so well. In Barbados and Trinidad, I was reading, the governments have not jumped on board as much as they should, but the private sector and the NGOs are the ones who are leading the way. But I still feel governments need to be more involved and take the lead. And we know that our government is interested. The Honourable Premier has spoken about his desire to tackle single-use plastics. Was it January of this year or last year?
During the drone speech.
Yes, exactly. And there's a commitment there, but we have to go forward. Now we have to put it into practice.
Yes.
And it's a challenge, but wherever you travel, you travel a lot, Ms. Claxton, and you can see the moves that are made.
Yes,
That are being made, and the concerns, and like we feel we're just scratching the very, very tip of the iceberg, you know, and we need to do more. So this will be a way to start raising awareness, and again, the young people are the ones. One quick thing I wanted to say, I've already got word from Miss Kendra Pemberton, one of the teachers at Gingerland, that she will get a group together. I'm sure the Charlestown group, and in the past, another group from CSS, Sixth Form College, Boss, has been very active. And what they do, which I appreciate, which I wanted to say, is that they don't clean the shore so much, they clean the area, pennies along the road leading to the beach, because one of the reasons all these things, like carnival costumes, maybe end up on the beach, often it's through guts, you know, they come down the guts, and so on. So a lot of what is coming is either through people littering everywhere, not just the beach.
Yes.
And another thing is, some of it isn't of our own making. NHCS tends to clean up Coconut Walk, and a lot of trash comes across from Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Antigua. And we could blame them, but maybe people are collecting our trash in other islands too.
Exactly.
So, you know, we're interconnected, and we have to take a stance
But one of
in a
the ways you
united
could
way.
actually reduce that is by using reusable bags,
Of course.
bottles.
And then you won't be dropping
Yeah,
them along
so
the
you
street
just
doing
continue to use the
Of
same
course.
thing.
So that will be
instead of
part
using
of the
bottles.
awareness raising and education campaign. And we know youth and education, the departments will be key to our success in this.
Well, I know, and Nikesha mentioned, but the truth is that the schools and the students are also a very essential, fundamental group for ensuring that we have the awareness and then the implementation of many of these things. I remember the last time the group from CSS was here, the environmental group from CSS was here. They spoke about they did a campaign where students had to drop their single-use plastics, and then they were able to send them to St. Kitts.
Yes.
And they took that went on for a long time. I think it was almost a term. And it would be wonderful if we can continue it throughout the school years so that it becomes habit. And Nikesha also mentioned going around and speaking to students. And I think that as a student advocate, that is a great example of how our students can show other students that this is something that's important. I know that Ms. Byron can come, Ms. Gunjuri can come, but when they see another student, it makes it something that's important. So we definitely, as I said, would have to have more extended conversation on that, but it is very important, and we have to start doing what we have to do to make sure that our environment is safe. We are complaining right now because it's a little bit hot. And usually it gets hot and we have the breeze, so it doesn't bother us. Somehow the breeze is not there, and so if we're complaining now, and we have to imagine if we continue to do some of these things that are destroying the planet, that are destroying our island, what are we going to do when the sea levels continue to rise? What are we going to do when we have to face the implications and the consequences of our actions? Even though it looks like something simple as dropping a bottle on the ground or on the beach,
It's
a
a
great
big
thing.
problem,
It's a
yeah.
big problem.
Yeah.
So that's something, we are almost there. Is there any quick information we want to give? Because we're almost out of time. We have about 30 seconds. Any quick?
When the bottles are collected, they are delivered to Admiro in St. Kitts for recycling. They have a recycling plant. And literally the fisher folk in Newcastle are going to be volunteering to use their boats to deliver on our behalf. But
Okay.
members, the John Robinson Fund members have been helping us out.
Okay, we have a call on the line, and we have a few minutes left. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. I just would like to say that most of those plastic bottles and everything that comes in, it comes in through most of the supermarkets. So those are who you all have to start to deal with at first.
Thank you very much. A lot of the single-use plastics come through supermarkets, and you're correct. You're very right. And so there's a recommendation from our caller to make sure that we're talking to the supermarkets as well. I'm hoping that you've already started that dialogue. But if not, that's somebody who we have to approach. We have
The supermarkets have told us, and the hotels, they are ready. They are waiting for legislation.
Okay.
Everybody seems to be ready. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once the legislation in place, you have no choice anyway. And so I guess they're waiting until they don't have another choice. But sign up by the 18th. That's Wednesday. Go down to the Hamilton Museum. Also, remember students, remember parents, next week, the 18th as well, you're expected to celebrate National Patriotic Day. Come on board, join us. We are out of time. The 21st, next Saturday, when I'm here wrapping up the show, you should be out there picking up so I can come out and join you.
You better.
I have to next Saturday. I usually do after the show. And so thank you all so very much, and I wish all of our listeners a wonderful week. And when we come back next week, as I said, everyone should be out there with the NHCS, with the Coastal Cleanup Campaign, making sure that it gets done and that we're cleaning up our island.
And it's important to
And
keep
it's
our
very
island
important.
clean.
Very, very important. Have a wonderful week.
Teach them well and let